Howdy folks, it's 8 a.m. on Friday, May 17. We're down in the workshop. I talked last night about how I had tried to figure out how I'm going to do the trim pieces around my doors. We'll take this piece upstairs. It's a test piece that I have, and we'll look at that. This is the fourth door for the two sets of French doors that'll go in here. This one I did yesterday morning. I'll move it over to there, and then we'll take it to the cabinet shop to be sanded. I'll probably drop that off tomorrow. So that's the way they look before they're sanded. Oh, by the way, once I get that one loaded up and brought to the cabinet shop, then we'll have all 8 of our doors for the 4 sets of French doors sanded. Some of them are ready, almost ready to go. I'll show you what we've been doing upstairs. I talk about the hinge jig and the like. And the dados will go through what all that is. They might be called rabbits. I call them dados, but I'm not a woodworker. So first we'll start with the hinge jig. This silver piece, what that is you see there's going to be 4 hinges on my doors, and I have a router, and the router is a motor. Right there it is. It's a motor with a bit right there. And the motor turns the bit around and the bit cuts. You use different bits for different type projects. The bit I'll use here will be quite a bit smaller, but there's a collar on that thing that I just got the other day, and it'll ride in this area here. And it'll cut away and a piece in here, and the hinge will set in there. And then we have to make our door jambs, which that's the interior wood frame that you'll see. It goes against the studs, and there'll be a hinge on that as well. So that's what we'll be attaching these doors to. Now, all of this sawdust that you see is sawdust from me making this groove. Down at the bottom, it's a little bit wider than it is on the sides, but this groove is what I call a dado. It might be rabbit, I'm not sure. But what this opening is from this edge to that edge is it's 25 and a half inches, 25 and a quarter, so that I have 1/8 of an inch on either edge for the glass, so that when I'm putting it in. Now when I do this, because my bits are round, when I come to a corner, you can see it's round. So what I want to be able to do, because my glass is a perfect rectangle, is I chip out this and make it square. And to do that, I take a chisel, a wood chisel. See, I did that one. I'm starting on this one. Here's sort of a side view. I chip out here and then over here, so that I end up taking all of that wood out that's making that circle or oval. So that's, when I get this all squared, there's still a hell of a lot to do. I got to put down tape on here. It's a weatherproofing tape. And I got to set the glass on. I got to caulk the glass. And then I got to figure out, because the glass is going to come just about to the top, 1/8 of an inch shy. And so what I got to do is figure out how I'm going to keep the glass in from the inside, because this is the inside. So what I did yesterday is I fiddled around with a scrap piece of cherry. And this cherry it's about 1 3/8 inches. And on this edge, it's a 1/2 inch. See, I put a little bevel. And then I cut away this, and that's what sits on here. And then this goes down and onto the glass. Now I want to cut, this is just a test piece, but I want to cut more of this off so that I end up with about a 1/2 inch on the glass. But, I think that that'll actually look quite nice when I get it all varnished in the lake. So until John gets here, I'm hoping he's going to come today. I'll chip out that corner and that corner, get this squared up, and then I'll go downstairs and I'll start making these window stops, we'll call them, for the 8 French doors that we're going to have. The other thing is Monday we have the floor sanders coming. They'll be here for a week. They're going to sand it, putty it, put down 2 coats of varnish, and then just before we get the cabinets, or after we get the cabinets in, and there's where the cabinets that's the island, they'll come back and they do a 3rd coat. So there's a lot. I mean, it took me, Linda and I, almost 3 months to put this in. I still have some places, for instance, here is a transition piece, and what I plan on doing is cutting out some of the concrete in there and slipping in a piece of cherry. Same thing over here. It's hard when you do one before the other, the floor before the thing, the slate, to get that just perfect. But now I'll mix and match. Put this in. It's sort of a border for the around the staircase. That's cherry. It's I call it the farmer cherry. I got it from a farmer named Ken. I wish I had his phone number. I'd flash him a picture, but it's on my old Android phone, which died, and I can't get any of my contacts off of it. So, but yeah, I used that farmer cherry for this, that, and I built all of my stair treads with it. You can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 boards that make up this post. I made these posts, several of them, out of it. So I really got my money's worth, because each of these posts is probably $70 otherwise. So that's about it. Thanks for following our progress. Next week it's going to look a hell of a lot different. God willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll have doors up, although I'm starting to doubt it. But we will have our floors sanded and varnished, and it'll start looking like a finished house. Thanks. Bye.